Hi friends and welcome to Pathik Lockdown video series number 2. This is Sameer Surve and we are into the third episode today. So at the outset I would like to thank all of you for the wonderful comments that you gave for the last video. I think it was well received. So thank you very much, and that really helps us quite a lot. Your feedback and of course the encouraging words mean a lot to us. So thank you very much for that. Before I jump into today's episode, as usual, let me remind you, if you have still not subscribed for the channel, please go and click on the like button, and of course also click on the bell icon so that you get notifications whenever we release the next video. In case you have missed the last episodes, in the card on the top left you can find the links for the previous episodes. They may help you to connect to the whole series much better. So let's jump into today's episode, and what are we going to talking about? Well, the topic for today is what is discipline. So let's consider the story of two uh, friends. So friend number one is Ramesh. Now imagine, look at his life. He's paying his bills daily. He has frequent headaches. He's every day he has to go to his boss and probably give a log sheet as to आज पूरा दिन क्या किया, कहाँ थे. Give me a whole account of how you spent your time. Were you really working or were you just whiling away your time? And plus he has to run about to attend to urgent matters day and day. If your life is like that, no doubt Ramesh says that his life is nothing but cruel. Now why is that? Just imagine, my friends, if you are living a life uh, where every week, in a week, every 2 days, the seasons go on changing. So let's say 2 days there is summer, 2 days there is winter, 2 days there is rainy season. So it is all erratic. Sometimes the sun, there is scorching heat, and the next day you are shivering in cold. So you don't know whether you should wear hot clothes, whether you should wear loose clothing, whether you should carry your umbrella. Life would be absolutely chaotic in such a situation. And that is exactly what is the case with Ramesh. So what happens when that happens is you don't have, I mean, you don't know when a crisis is going to strike. You don't know when the boss is going to call you up. You don't know when you will get a reminder on your cell phone saying that your payment is due for the next bill. You don't know when you're going to fall sick. You don't know when there could be an emergency striking in your at your kids' school or whatever. So whole day you're running after running errands or just keeping life at bay, just keeping yourself functioning. So you don't get any time for new creations, you don't get any time for peace, you don't get any time to think, you don't get any time to innovate. And at such times, your life would be something like this. I would say that the time lag that you have, you're paying your bills, you're having headaches, you're pacifying the boss, as we saw in the case of Ramesh. So I would say here the time lag that you have is nothing but one day. That means the whole day is over and then the next day starts. So you don't get time enough for creation, to live life, to do something new. So the result is nothing but frustration. Contrast to that, consider the case of Akash. He pays his bills only once in a year. Well, the whole year he has never fallen sick. Isn't it great? And he has to meet his boss only once in a month and just tell him what he's up to, what he's supposed to do, and then he has the whole freedom to do whatever he wants to do during the whole month and work the way he wants to work. Probably because he's responsible. And then, of course, he has only few emergencies. I mean, these are called life-threatening emergencies, which occur only 3 or 4 in a matter of a year or so. So Akash's life is nothing but fun. Now, why does this happen? Well, if you see in Akash's life, because he is doing the things which he has to do, or he has to, like paying bills or taking care of his health, his time lag, as you see can here, is about 1 month. That means he has 1 month to think, to manipulate, to adjust, to work on life. So as you saw, the time lag has increased. Now there are, and when you have a time lag of 1 month, well, at least you're surviving. If you're not running up, you're not frustrated, but you're surviving, which is not ideal, but yeah, much better than what Ramesh was. But then there are people who got a step further. As you go on working on yourself more, imagine if you had a time lag of 1 year. That means just look at the freedom that you have. Now you're making some progress. That means you're not bothered by doing the things that you have to do or to manage life on a day to day basis. maybe 20% of your time goes in managing life, but 80% of the time you're living life. 80% of the time you're thinking of your future, you're reading something, you're learning something, you're creating, you're innovating. Uh, you are up to doing what you want to do. And of course, then there are people, my dear friends, who have a time lag of, say, 10 years. So that means they have the freedom to do whatever they want to do in their life. They are not thinking about how they are going to pay the bills for the next year. They are not even thinking about how they are going to pay the bills for the next year. For the next 10 years, they are secured financially. Their health is absolutely prime. So probably they have hardly taken a pill for a very long time. The relationships are working absolutely smooth. They have challenges at workplace, but these challenges are something which are created by the goals that they take rather than by something created by the environment. So they have got enough shock absorbing capacity, and at that time I would say then you become a unit. Don't you think that is the space to be in these times of crisis? Imagine if you were here in this space during this COVID crisis. You don't have to worry financially if the crisis is going to last for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. You have enough time to build and to do whatever you want to do. Your health is prime, so because your immune system is strong, you're healthy, and you can afford, even by sitting at home, to be healthy and not worried about why I'm not getting out, what will happen if I don't work. Your relationships are getting better. So this is the space to be in. And let me tell you, there are some people who are in this space. They are at peace and they have enough time to bide time, even if this crisis goes on for the next 3 to 4 or 5 years. I don't know whether you have met such people, but I have definitely met such people. The answer to that is the topic for today, and that is called discipline. These people have this leverage, these people have this freedom is simply because they have something in life called discipline. So we are going to delve in this topic a little more today. As you get more and more disciplined, the time gap between you and the challenges goes on increasing. That means you don't have a challenge coming on every you don't have a challenge coming on every day, or you don't have a challenge coming on every 2 hours. You're not running in between challenges. You have a challenge and then you have a time to deal with the challenge and live your life. So you get time to breathe, you get time to progress. Now, why this happens? Simply because when you are disciplined, because of your discipline, either you prevent the problem. That means uh, so many people who are healthy today, in spite of COVID, they don't have to worry. They're preventing the issue, and these cases are called asymptomatic cases. That means in these cases, they get COVID, but they don't even know they have gotten COVID because the immune system is strong. Now, why were they not affected by COVID during these times when others are getting affected? Simply because they have worked on their health. So this is just one example I am giving you, where if you are disciplined, you could prevent the problem, or because of your increased area of influence, you are in a better situation to deal with the problem. So let's go a step further. Suppose a person gets affected by COVID and he is not well, he has to get hospitalized, but then he has a support system, probably he's financially strong, so he can still fight and deal with the situation much better than a common person on the road who is not even, he's running from pillar to post just to secure an oxygen cylinder. So I'm not making any judgments on anybody. I'm simply trying to explain to you that if you have been disciplined in your life, you can either prevent problems, or even if you have problems, you can deal with them in a much better way. So let's think about what is this discipline all about. As you can see on the screen, it's about willpower and determination. It's a gateway to produce fast results, and it's about passion and emotions. No excuses. And we have been hearing about this for a very long time. It's all about having the will. It's all about having the determination. You need to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and then stick to it. If you don't, then you're not disciplined. Something is wrong with you. But my dear friends, that's not the case. Look at what the slide is saying. Discipline is not about willpower. Discipline is not about determination. Discipline is not about, it is not a gateway to produce fast results. It is not about passion. It is not about emotions. Then what is discipline all about? Well, discipline is all about, it's a slow process which can help you to get very big results. It is not about emotions, but it is about grace, and it is about consistency, and it is about patience. So it's not about being fast, it's about being slow. So when you are in a process of getting yourself disciplined, you need not use willpower. You need not use your determination. In fact, willpower and determination are limited resources. Let's say that you decide that anyhow I want to reach school at 8:30 in the morning and you are running late. Then you just somehow gulp some chips. You don't even have your proper breakfast. You run about and you take an auto, or you plead to the auto wala, bhai sahab, please leke chalo. You take in a sharing auto, and then you reach school or your office on time. Now here what has happened? You have normally you would have walked this distance. Today you have taken an auto. Now can you every day uh, afford to take that Ola or an auto to school? So you're spending more resources. You're not even having your breakfast. So this is a strategy where you're exerting your resources, but you don't have unlimited resources. After a point of time, there is going to be a discussion where you're going to be sitting with your budget saying, "Hey, roz Ola parvadega nahi," because your money is going to get exhausted. Exactly like that, your willpower gets exhausted. You can use and exert your willpower to get up early in the morning on one day and push yourself to do those exercises or do whatever you want to do. But very soon that willpower is going to get exhausted. So if you want to get disciplined, willpower is something which is not going to help you. It's a slow process. Second, discipline has got nothing to do with emotions. Just think about it. The moment you get emotional, it depends on your mood. So if the weather is not okay, you don't feel like getting up in the morning. Uh, you may not feel like studying. You may not feel like doing your work. Now that depends on the weather. And that's because you feel emotional. But discipline is something where you have got nothing to do with emotions. I mean, there is a wonderful story about Lokmanya Tilak. I have shared it in one video before, but I would like to share it again. So this was a time when the Pune city was affected with plague, and there were small children dying in every household. And Mr. Tilak was writing his editorial for his newspaper Kesari. And he was sitting in his office. And after a while, a person entered his office and said that you had given me an appointment, we were supposed to meet. And so he said, yeah, sure enough. So please sit. And within a few moments, they started the meeting. As the meeting was about to end, somebody from inside the house came and told Mr. Tilak, okay, it's time to leave. We have to go. The person who had come to meet him was very apologetic, and he said, "Oh, I'm very sorry. Did I hold you back from something very important?" Uh, to which, very coolly and calmly, Mr. Tilak said, "Yes. Just a few hours ago, I lost my elder son Vishwanath to plague. He's no more in this world, and we had to go proceed for the funeral procession." That man was stunned. He said, "You lost your own son, and you're sitting here and doing a meeting with me?" To which again Mr. Tilak very coolly said, "That I lost my son is not your mistake. I had given you time and I had to live by it. Don't feel sad about it. It's my personal loss and that's okay." Now that is what is discipline. Sticking to what you have decided. Now he could do it. That doesn't mean he did not love his son. It simply means that when you are tuned to do certain things in a certain way, you don't let your emotions come in the way. Now, this may sound to be an extreme example, but this is how UNIP perform, and therefore it's a real life example. Discipline is a process where you work without using your emotions. So whether it is raining outside or whether it is hot outside, you would get up in the morning at 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock, whatever time you're used to. Automatically your eyes are going to open. You are going to work, go to your office and do your work as if nothing has happened, because when you get disciplined, you disconnect with emotions. That is what explains that how sports people can go and play and create world records even when they are physically not well. There are actors who, in spite of their personal losses, can go and shoot for a film uh, as if nothing has happened. And finally, discipline is about consistency and patience. So you don't get discipline in a day, you don't get discipline in 1 month, you don't get discipline in 2 weeks. It may take as long as it takes, but you need to have patience. Let me give you a definition of what is discipline according to us. According to us, discipline is developing an armory uh, of attitudes, behaviors, habits, and skills that will help you in the journey of life to deal with challenges with ease and with grace. So that means there will be challenges, there will be difficult times, but you're already prepared, you're already trained yourself with the necessary attitudes, with the necessary skills, with the necessary behavioral skill sets, or with the necessary habits, so that even before the challenge strikes, you are ready to take it on head on. So that's what discipline is according to us. Now, how do you go about setting yourself with discipline? Step number one. Well, step number one is decide on what is your why. Why do you need to be disciplined? And for that, I would suggest, or we would suggest, that you take a piece of paper and first of all write down that the kind of person that you want to be emotionally, financially, physically, and socially. And then make a list of all the skills, attitudes, behaviors, habits that you need to have as that kind of a person. The list may be pretty exhaustive, and mind you, let me warn you, when you write down the list, you may be absolutely overwhelmed to say, my God, I have to do so many changes. But that's the problem. We want to bring about the change in the next 1 month or next 15 days. But we have told you discipline is a slow process and it is not connected with getting results immediately. So let the list be long and let you take another 10, 15, 20 years to become the kind of person that you want to be. But understand you're still moving in the right direction. So once your list is ready, you have a strong why. Now start taking baby steps. Now when I say baby steps, understand one thing. You cannot connect the activity with getting results. So let me give you a simple example. Let's say that you want to have a strong physique, and so you decide that you're going to get up early in the morning and start exercising. Now here we are dealing with two different things. Number one is you want to have a strong physique, which is your goal. And number two is you want to get into the habit and discipline yourself of getting up early in the morning and falling in love with exercise. So step number one is getting up early in the morning. Now once you get up early in the morning, then exercising. And then you go to the goal of making a strong physique. Now if you try to do all the three things together, you're going to miserably fail because you are trying something new. So let's stick to, let's say, getting up early in the morning. And that's a baby step. So we are not talking about exercising. We are not even talking about developing a good physique. We are simply talking about taking a baby step of getting up early in the morning. So have a ritual where you get up early in the morning and focus on that consistency. Can I get up early in the morning? Now once you get up early in the morning and start doing 100 other things which you have not been doing normally, you're bombarding your brain with too many things. So get up early in the morning, take a warm glass of water and just enjoy the feeling of getting up early in the morning and go slow. Maybe it may take 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, but you should enjoy that feeling of getting up early in the morning. Once you are tuned to getting up early in the morning, then get up early in the morning and add on that new thing of exercising. But again, we want to get disciplined about exercising and not creating results. So exercise for 5 minutes, for 10 minutes, so that you enjoy the process of getting up early in the morning and exercising. And once you are tuned to that, where you get up early in the morning, your eyes open and you say, I want to exercise, I love that. Now you start exerting a little more. So don't get into that, pump yourself into that 45 minutes workout right on the day if you're not used to getting up early in the morning and if you're not used to exercising. Once you have mastered getting up early in the morning, once you have mastered getting up early in the morning and exercising, then slowly and slowly start exerting a little more. So maybe by the time you have achieved all the three things, that you get up in the morning and you start exercising and you start making a good physique, it may take 1 year, 1.5 years to 2 years. But as we said, you have to focus on consistency, not persistence, not determination, and not producing results. And last but not the least, you may still falter. There may be times when you may not get up early in the morning and you may miss it, you may miss the alarm, or you may get up early in the morning but you don't exercise. Now here, don't feel guilty, but the key lies in don't stop. Just continue the next day as if nothing has happened. If you do that, slowly and steadily, you are creating a path in your brain, training your brain and exercising the neurons in your brain to become stronger and stronger towards that behavior. And the day will not be far when you would be disciplined of getting up early in the morning, and whether it's raining, whatever it is, you would just do it. Once you have gotten this discipline, go on to the next habit, go on to the next behavior. And that's how you go on getting disciplined. So the whole process of becoming the kind of person that you want to be may take 30 years, 40 years, or I would say that's a never-ending process. But you will start enjoying the journey of life. And every time you develop one more discipline, life is going to be a little more rewarding. As in the last two episodes, let me give you one very nice example. So last year during the lockdown, we had a program called Pathik Connect, and here is one more example of this young man, Pratap More, who is a budding artist, and he does murals. So let's look at what he did. As you can see on the screen, he says, so we gave them, we had a whole 1 year training where we trained them with all these concepts, and ultimately we gave them a 75 days project where they had to prove themselves to see whether they can really be disciplined and produce some results. So Pratap says that he had some experimental projects a few years back or months back, but he never concluded them. He never finished them. But because of this WINSys, that is the project, I could not only complete them, but they were successful too. These experiments are going to help me to achieve my vision faster. So this was his target, but let's see what he actually did. So when it comes to what he actually did, as you can see on the screen, he says he had decided that he's going to give minimum 5 hours every day for his studio experimenting, working on his artworks. Now this is not easy because he says this time of 5 hours demands that he gives uninterrupted attention to his work. Now this time does not include the time given on networking to get work from people, emailing or any other activity. So 5 hours of focus time only for achieving his target of WINSys. Mind you, this WINSys was taken after 1 year of training. So again, we were very slow, we were very patient, and he took baby steps. What was the result? Well, the result was he wanted to make aluminium paintings for the longest period of time, as aluminium is the most durable form and can sustain any weather conditions. And he did a few experiments and succeeded in creating the first aluminium painting. In the past, he used to restrict himself to smaller work, but for the first time, he did a work which was he did everything from 5 inches to 500 feet. So that's huge. Then he talks about he got 2 professional contracts from the Hotel Renaissance in Powai. He's currently working with a very, very big architectural firm, as you can see on the screen, Stapati. He always wanted to do it. And they have given him a huge contract. It's one of the world's biggest companies. And he says that if things work out right, he would get the biggest contract of his life. To understand the magnitude, he says it's 3,000 square feet of contract, which will be at least 4 to 5 times of his annual turnover. So remember, I told you on the slide that discipline is a slow process, but it can give you big results. And this is exactly what I meant when I said that in the slide. Now, what does Pratap say after this? He has reduced his weight. He has become a much more healthier person. And he says, I don't have words to describe how life is now. All I can say is that I restored faith in myself. He was down and depressed. He was about to consult a psychiatrist for this, but now he's taken charge of his life. He's feeling all the more elevated and happy about it. So my dear friends, all that I said in today's video is common sense. You may say, I know it, but like the great Marshall Goldsmith, who is the world's best coach, and I happen to be a student, always says that simple is not easy. So whatever I told you is pretty simple, but it's not easy. But at the same time, just because it's not easy and it's difficult, that doesn't mean it doesn't work. And Pratap is a great example to show you that it really works. So finally, I hope that you start working on making your life and your working process a little more disciplined, and you make yourself a better person. Thank you for listening to me today. Again, let me remind you, please give your comments. It feels very nice to read your comments, and of course, constructive suggestions where we could improve on these videos in the coming episodes. For now, thanks a lot, and see you again in the next episode. Bye-bye.